Conference title implications, playoff implications, noon Eastern, ABC, Miami. Going to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to take on Pitt. A balmy high of 32 for the folks in attendance in this game. Miami, living on a prayer, baby, like the great Bon Jovi song. Is it likely you make the college football playoff as an at-large bid? I don't know, but it grows more and more likely each week that you keep on winning football games. Miami's got to get a little bit of help here when it comes to them making the ACC title game outright. But the one thing that has to happen for Miami to be in the ACC title game, the non-negotiable, you got to beat Pitt. So win this game, let the rest of the cards fall where they may, and we'll see what happens after the fact if Mario Cristobal and company. Full breakdown, too, on what Miami needs to make the ACC title game already on this channel, so go check that out. For Pitt, you win this game, you clinch a spot in the ACC title game. All the talk with Pat Narduzzi, pre-Notre Dame, we could lose by 100. They could beat us 110-10. We don't care. As long as we win the next two, we're good. Well, guess what? You won one of those next two already. You win this game, you are in the ACC title game. Now, Miami is a 6.5-point favorite, according to BetMGM. Interesting. Very interesting. Here's my take. Pitt's going to score now. Cade Bell, I keep on talking about him on this show any chance we get when it comes to breaking down a Pitt game because I feel very strongly about this. One of the best offensive coordinators in the sport, one of the best young offensive coordinators in the sport. He was in his bag against Georgia Tech. It was play action. It was putting playmakers in space. It was the zone run game, getting their guys on the perimeter. It was a thing of beauty to watch. I think Miami's pretty good defensively, but I think Pitt's going to get theirs. I really do. Mason Heinschel has been phenomenal to watch all year long for Pitt since he took the job over. Here's what I think is interesting to note when it comes to Pitt. Mason Heinschel has got a little bit of Pirates of the Caribbean in him, a little Jack Sparrow in him when it comes to the off-script stuff and break contain and making plays downfield and shaking and baking. He's going to give you, as a viewer of the sport, some here we go plays. You know what I'm saying? Like, he breaks contain, the play breaks down, you're watching the game. Maybe you're not already standing up watching college football. If you are, more power to you. Maybe you get up off the couch, though, when he breaks contain, you say, here we go. Okay, something big's about to happen, whether it's for the better or for the worse. Mason Heinschel's got some gunslinger to him. I love him for it. But what happens in those here we go plays? Is it a Pitt explosive? Is it a turnover? The here we go plays for Mason Heinschel, I think, will go a long way in determining if Pitt defends home field and clinches an ACC title spot or if Miami keeps their playoff hopes alive. Now, I think the cat and mouse here with what Miami does in that front seven is going to be a lot of fun to watch in those here we go plays. Like Ruben Bain, there was a point during this season where I said he would be a Heisman finalist. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, but he's still someone that Pitt has to deal with in this spot. I go back to the Notre Dame game for Pitt, and I keep thinking about how intensely Marcus Freeman and Chris Ash applied pressure to Pitt and how much Pitt had trouble with it. If Miami can recreate that same level of pressure for Mason Heinschel, I think that's a path to favoring Miami. But if it's a thing where Miami just wants to kind of try and sit back and not allow the big play, I think at that point you give Mason Heinschel some real estate to work with. And, any good project manager with some more space to work with, if Mason Heinschel is, good things happen. So keep a pulse on that. Miami's run game, they got to have some of that in this game, obviously, with it being, just a November game. You got to run the football in November to win games. But I think with how good Pitt is in that front seven by the numbers. I know the Notre Dame game kind of skews it a little bit with how good Jeremiah Love is, but you want to help Carson Beck as much as humanly possible going into this spot with what the weather could be and how tough it could be to throw and catch. I'm not questioning so much like will Miami try to run the football. I'm questioning their ability to find timing in the run game. Pitt, they do a lot of stunting, right? They'll loop their defensive end inside and bring their nose tackle out. They'll give you different pictures to work with. As an offensive line, that's a lot to sort out in real time. You got to be really good on your rules when it comes to running the football. You got to be really good on communication in the pre-snap. You got to be really good sorting things out on the sideline. And the reason why I mentioned the timing here, if you're a running back, you have to be able to hit the hole at just the right time within that stunt. If you hit it at the right time, you could gash them. If you try to hit it too early and you press a little bit too quickly because inside zone hits a certain way that you're used to it hitting, but that stunt throws off the timing, it can be tackled for a loss, short gain at best. The timing of this in the run game for Miami with what they like to do when it comes to getting downhill, that's going to go a long way, I think, in determining what you ask of Carson Beck. Because, again, if you're hitting that thing at the right time when it comes to how Pitt stunts, could be a lot of big plays. If you can't figure out that timing, it's going to be a lot of unideal down and distance for Carson Beck. Now, I thought about leading with this point because I think it's the most important thing in this game, but I wanted to provide some other context around Pitt and their offense and Miami having run the football. Here's what this whole game comes down to for me. Do we see Carson Beck do first-round stuff, or do we see him do dumb stuff? We've seen him do both. See the dumb stuff against Louisville, where we're throwing hot and throwing a pick. We throw 4 picks against Louisville. We throw picks against SMU. Or is it the first-round stuff we saw the first month of the season? Or we're like, Carson Beck, is he about to win the Heisman Trophy? Hey, what was Georgia doing with Carson Beck? Because Carson Beck's slinging it right now to Malachi Toney and Keelan Marion. Which do we see more of from Carson Beck? Because it's not a question of ability. I really believe that. I think the dude's got a freaking rifle for a right arm. I think that when he is seeing it correctly, he's able to throw accurate passes. But when he presses, going back to Miami running the football, when he feels like he has to make something happen, we see the dumb stuff. And that's how Miami loses football games. Here's why I fall in this game. Y'all, everything in me wants to pick Pitt. So if Pitt wins the football game, I'll walk in here sheepishly on Sunday, feel a little bit sick to my stomach for having felt one thing and picked another. But I'm looking at Miami, and I'm thinking about what they are this year relative to last year. Didn't last year's Miami, as fun as they were to watch, they gave you a heart attack every time watching them? The cardiac canes, what we called them on this show. Didn't you feel like every single weekend, regardless of if it was Cal, if it was Syracuse, if it was Georgia Tech, whoever it was, you knew you were in for Miami playing a close game? I don't feel the same way watching this Miami team. I don't think I have the same symptoms watching this Miami team with how they could be just like showing up for 2 quarters at a time any given Saturday and give you a great game. I think this team, unfortunately now, for the good folks in the 305, they just have 2 unexcused absences. Didn't show up against Louisville, didn't show up against SMU. Outside of that, they've looked a lot healthier the last couple of weeks. Since the SMU loss, Carson Beck, 0 interceptions, 8 touchdowns. Now, it's not against great competition, don't get it twisted, but it's enough for me to feel like, okay, Miami last year, will scare you a little bit, make you a little bit nervous, make you feel a little bit on edge. So I'll give you my pick in this game in just a matter of moments, but I told you, high of 32 in this game. You know what I'm wearing? I'm wearing Roback, dude. If you're a psychopath, maybe you wear a polo out there. More than likely, though, you're wearing a hoodie. Maybe you're wearing one of their new vests. Okay, I got a fleece from Roback. I'd go double check. That's on the website because it might be sold out. But Roback, the best in the game when it comes to comfortable activewear, when it comes to having a little bit of extra style with your comfort, Roback's got you covered there. So if you hear nothing else, hear this. Roback is going to save all of us money when you use code JD at checkout for first-time customers. No periods, those 2 letters. Code JD at roback.com, RHOBACK.com for 20% off all performance polos, shorts, whatever you're buying on roback.com. Use code JD, your new customer, 20% off. So, appreciate Roback bringing y'all the hard count today and bringing y'all this prediction, bringing y'all this show. Go shop with Roback. They're for us. They're by us. Go make sure you lock them with Roback. There's just too much there for Miami, man, for me to feel good about picking Pitt. Love Pitt. Love Cade Bell. Love Heinschel. Love Narduzzi. I just think Miami is in a different spot than they were a year ago relative to their focus level. I think we see them show up. I think we see Carson Beck deliver the football downfield with authority. I think the run game actually gets rolling too. They find their timing probably as the game progresses and they get a couple of gash plays here against Pitt. I think Miami wins. I think Pitt covers. Is Miami 27, Pitt 21. So just by that half point there, Miami wins by 6, and they keep their college football playoff hopes intact. Cato, this one's going to – I mean, the ACC is madness, dude. We keep saying this, probably need to break out the calculator and the quadratic formula to figure out how that whole thing's going to shake out. Getting a little bit more simplistic here, especially if Pitt can win this game. Where did you fall on this one? Because I think you've been ahead of the 8 ball when it comes to fading Miami in November. Where are you at on this one, brother?
Yeah, and I did predict the Pitt win and the SMU win both last week, so I kind of have a little bit of a pulse of the ACC.
Hot hand.
The weather, this being at Pitt scares me. I do not know who's going to win this game as of right now, but I did want to go through some of the ACC scenarios because you mentioned Pitt controls their own destiny, and they do to a certain extent. So there's actually still 5 teams still in the mix. Virginia is the only one that truly controls their own destiny in the ACC. They could either beat Virginia Tech, who they've notably only beat once in the last 20 years, which is, we'll see if they can do that. Or a Pitt loss to Miami also puts Virginia in. So Virginia's in if they win or if Pitt loses. Pitt, they have to beat Miami, and they need SMU or Virginia to lose as well. So they need a win and they need a loss from one of those two games because SMU's actually really strong in the three-way tiebreaker with common opponents and things like that. SMU, you have to go to Cal, you have to beat Cal, or Pitt lost to Miami does it for them. So they're in a kind of similar situation with Virginia where they can win or a team can lose and they can get right there. So SMU could be back in the mix just with the Pitt loss to Miami by itself, notably.
Interesting. Okay, so there's a lot of it. So Pitt controls their own destiny, like you said, to a certain extent.
Yes.
But they still need a little sprinkle of something for, you said, an SMU loss or a Virginia loss?
Yes,
okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Miami, still in the mix. They need to beat Pitt. And they need Duke to lose to Wake Forest or Virginia Tech to win. So, like, they need a little bit more. They need a win, and they need two different things to happen. So now we're getting kind of to the territory where you need some dominoes to fall. And Georgia Tech, same thing, not controlling their own destiny. Mm-hmm. They don't play this weekend. They play Georgia. They don't play an ACC game. Mm-hmm. So they need Virginia to lose and SMU to lose to be in the mix. And then last one, Duke, just craziness. They need to beat Wake Forest. They need Pitt to lose and SMU to lose to Cal, and they're actually in the mix there too. So a little crazy, but couple dominoes. A little bit less crazy than the Big 12 last year.
Yeah.
But nonetheless.
Praise the Lord.
Long story short, Virginia's the only team that really controls their own destiny. Pitt and SMU are kind of in the category of need a win and something else to happen. And then Miami, Georgia Tech, Duke are like win your game. 2-3 things need to happen, long story short.
I know Miami got to beat Pitt, need Duke to lose, and then need a Cal beating SMU situation or Virginia Tech beating Virginia situation.
Virginia Tech.
And then things are getting a little bit
because
popping.
They lost their SMU head-to-head. Yeah. So, like, their SMU already has the head-to-head on Miami, so they need those other games to go their way along with their own.
Gosh, dude.
Fun, though.
This is awesome.
All fun.
This is so fun.
All to get a chance to play in that playoff, man, and shock the world. Excited to see it. Everyone's already counting out this conference. They'll play the 5 seed, they'll play the 6 and get rolled over. Hey man, whoever wins this conference has played some high stakes ball for the last couple weeks, so we'll see, man.
They've been in playoff mode for a minute,
for a while,
ACC,
dude. For a while.
We'll see what the committee says tonight too about Miami and the ACC alike and where they're ranking them.